Chat, here we go. We got a nice one today. We have Chronic versus Evoh, a match that we've actually had twice before on stream. I would have thought that we've had this even more than that, because Chronic and Evoh make up a huge portion of the games played on stream. I was just talking about this to Twitch chat before the match started, as Chronic immediately scores off a double, is that Evoh and Chronic make up a huge portion of the wins on stream. Evoh is number 2 all-time in wins on stream. Chronic, number 3. So they've played a lot, but they've only played twice against each other. And the times that they played against each other, we have to go really far back in time. So one of the first couple tournaments that I ever made was called the Feer 500, because I was able to get $500 for the prize. Chronic, look at this reset top corner. Chronic looks so good, by the way. He played some more games recently, and we'll get to that. But we're going to start first with Chronic's history on stream against Evoh. So the Feer 500 Season 2 is the second time that I ran it with the $500 prize pool. Chronic ended up winning his pool, and he played Evoh. This was the beginning of Evoh's 1v1 talent, if you ask me. It was actually a bit of a surprise, I think, to have Evoh qualify for that tournament. Not too many people were expecting him to. And then he went on to have great games against everybody. I think it was Sharp, Chronic, and maybe Drees, or someone else, some other talented 1v1 player. He didn't get any wins, but he had all of them be very respectable, and that was the beginning. That was the beginning for Evoh. And then not long after that, they actually played each other again in another event that I made called the Feer 5. The Feer 5 was the 5, at the time, players who had played the most on my stream, defending as a gauntlet against some very high-level challengers like Lion Blaze, Evoh, Rapid, and a few different other players. But Chronic also beat Evoh in that. Evoh made his way through the gauntlet up to Chronic, but then Chronic finished him off, and he's going to get another reset for a third. But he finished not only Evoh off, but almost everybody off. Chronic had an amazing event. Was definitely the MVP of the Feer 5, the way he stopped every possible challenger. And it kind of goes to show that at the time, Evoh was not one of the guys who was part of, the people who had played the most on stream. Now, since then, as we talked about last stream, Evoh is actually the #1 most games played on my stream by a landslide. Not the #1 most wins, that's actually still Daniel, but the most matches played is definitely Evoh. And Evoh's looked really, really good. Now we'll talk a little bit more Chronic is just forcing us to talk about his highlight play after highlight plays. I'm trying to give the context of the game, but Chronic says no. I want to put in clip after clip after clip. Another wall to air dribble. Reset, and he slots it top right. 4-1 for Chronic as he continues to run it up. But Chronic recently had a match against Daniel on Johnny's stream. So if you want to go watch Chronic versus Daniel, I think it's on YouTube already. It's a really good match. You should check it out. I wouldn't blame you for leaving to make sure you watch him in order. But I am going to spoil the result of that, which is that Chronic was able to get the win. He held off a reverse sweep against Daniel and took him down. It's been, a while since Daniel's lost to any North Americans. But now AJ and Chronic have both put him on that list. And Evoh's been looking really good. Evoh, who might have just DC'd. What's going on with Evoh? Evoh was able to beat Lion Blaze recently and just looked solid in the crew battles events as well against different 1v1ers. And so he's ready. He's ready to prove himself against the best possible players. And today he's going to try that against Chronic. It's a tough start to this match as he's down 3 halfway through game #1. But one of the things he's prided himself on recently has been improving his defense. And his defense in other games has looked really solid. In fact, low-scoring games now seem to favor Evoh as he's going to try and strike a power shot. He makes it just inside the far post. And now he's within 2. You have Admin. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to reset the time on that. Chronic didn't score. He could tell that Evoh was DC'd or something, and they both just handled it themselves just fine. I don't think we need to reset on a kickoff there. But Evoh, who is, regarded by many to be in the top 5 of North American 1v1ers right now, is maybe trying to push his way up even higher if he could get a win over Chronic. And Chronic is just trying to remind everybody that he never left. Look at this shot. Crossbar down. He is in the zone. Chronic has been doing it through the air for the most part so far, but he's showing that he's got the ground game as well. All the offense is there. Evoh might have finished that off. I'm not sure. He might have given it a final touch to tap it in. But man, Chronic, ever since he's played on stream, has always been one of the best players. Every tournament we've ever had, every sort of show match, you know, Chronic may not be in the ones game as much as he is at other times, but he always performs. He's always finishing, you know, he's the phase of 1v1 tournaments. He's always getting at least third against top competition, whether he's been practicing or not. And he's trying to show that he should never have been taken out of the conversation for top 5 players ever, because there is no question I would say that Evoh is up there now. But Chronic maybe trying to push him a little bit lower as he works his way into the podium, maybe, of North American 1v1ers. But right now, Evoh is still close. It is a 2-goal game, despite Chronic's varied offense that looks very, very solid. Evoh is back to the air dribble bump. I can't tell you how long it's been since he's done an air dribble bump like this. And Chronic is going to hit him with a nice one. If you guys remember Evoh's last 1v1, every time he got air dribble bumped, he threw a nice one to his opponent. And now Chronic, the guy who made chirping, the first chirper ever in the ones game, is going to do the same thing back. Evoh is not saying thanks because he doesn't think Evoh's genuine. Or sorry, he doesn't think Chronic is genuine. Because usually these guys are not being genuine for air dribble bump compliments. But it was a good one. You know, there is a good chance that Chronic could just be saying that that was a nice shot. Now, Chronic shows the first chink in his offensive armor here, as he is unable to get the musty inside the net, and off the backboard is going to be a very easy takeaway for Evoh. You miss Mo? Yeah, Mo stopped playing in his game against Chronic. That was the last time he went to play. Chronic resets. Able to tap it over the top of Evoh. Do you think that Chronic is getting more recognition because randoms have had some success? No, I think Chronic has always been a... I mean, yeah, I guess the threes recognition. Chronic has never really been involved in threes as much. I think it had a lot to do with personal life stuff. I think he's been capable of being, you know, a top 3v3 player for a while. But I want to say he had different personal life things going on that resulted in not playing certain splits and regionals, maybe not being as committed as you need to be for an RLCS player. And I think that's over now. I get the impression now he's ready to be grinding RLCS. So hopefully we'll see him in it a bunch more. That's a really important save. Chronic up 1, trying to go safe for the air dribble bump, but Evoh gets up over the top and is able to get a free net. Chronic trying to pay him back, unable to. And now a game that felt dominated by Chronic at the beginning is all tied up 6-6. And a very crucial kickoff to follow. Evoh is going to potentially take control. Chronic doing a good job of pressuring, and he actually has a ton of boost. Probably a good amount saved for the kickoff, and from pads. Is this going to hit the ground? It is. Oh my goodness. Chronic playing with fire as he is a little over-aggressive in Evoh's half. Evoh couldn't quite score off it. Immediate kickoff, though. This should be in. It is. Evoh had some solid kickoffs. Let's see how this one went. Chronic just trying to go dead center through the ball, and it drops right in front of Evoh. Evoh is going to go up 1-0, and he'll be right back. Chronic certainly had more highlight plays, no doubt about that, but Evoh gets the game 1 win in this $100 best of 5. Game number 2. Evoh and Chronic. Evoh showing his 1v1 prowess and showing something that used to be his weakness. The ability to stay focused in a game, not give up on himself, not tilt out of, you know, any individual game. He was notorious for being one of the earliest forfeiters. Now, I don't think there was ever a moment in that game that he would have forfeited even in the past, but the point is he was very, very solid mentally. Didn't break down, didn't let Chronic blow the game out of the water, stayed in it. He's able to get the late win. Now a reset wave dash pushes it faster than Chronic was expecting. And a 1-0 lead for Evoh. Evoh didn't seem like the best of first touches, but he actually pitches it with the ground into the corner. Oh my goodness. Evoh just slaps this to the ceiling, and then it seemed like he was maybe thinking about getting a reset, but when he couldn't, he instead just pinches it on the ground right into the bottom left. What an impressive shot from Evoh. I think my theory is that he was trying to go off the ceiling into a reset, and it just didn't work out. You can see that he turned his car so that his wheels were facing perfectly at the ball if it were to run into him. Oh my goodness. This is just a nasty series so far. Clip after clip after clip. Chronic from the side wall. You cannot let him have it for free. Doubles it off the post. Oh my goodness. That is just nasty. These guys making a habit of just thanking themselves for their compliments to the other. Chronic, a slow dribble. Had to use a bit of boost to get back underneath it there and just keep the carry going. Definitely makes his shot much more threatening, but necessary in order to not just let Evoh have a free possession the other way. Evoh, he is really want this underscoop. I'm sure there's probably a name for it. Chat, is there already a name for this, like, underbelly scoop flick that Evoh's been trying to get? I don't think he's ever scored with it yet, but, you know, it started this shot. It was a good first shot that he eventually was able to turn in for a goal with some quick recoveries in the corner. The turtle flick? The Evoh flick. Dorette wants to just give it hit to him. He hasn't even scored it yet. Evoh, was that a backwards wave dash into the ceiling? I think it's just going to get him scored on. That was a little ambitious. Both these players are known to get a little ambitious in the air. But right now, nothing seems ambitious with how they're playing. They've just slammed everything in. Why not try it all? It's not the Feer flick. No, it's not the Feer flick. I can't. No. He scored it against Omar in a Johnny Show match and called it that. Wait, he called it the Evoh flick? He just tried to call it his own name. He didn't even call it with any other name. I didn't realize. Oh, that was in the show match where they were talking in voice chat, and he wanted to call it the Evoh flick. He definitely is the only person I see doing it. Ooh, Chronic pushed the ball too much on that reset. Now Evoh is riding underneath him to make sure his recovery is weak, and I think he worked out a way to get a goal. Chronic going to the corner after did he get a reset? Did he just jump off Evoh? He needed to not turn towards the corner, but I'm not sure it would have mattered. If he turns in field, it's going to be a really hard double jump with no boost to stop that Doomsy. Chronic will take control of this kickoff, though, by not going to it. And now his carry and flicks have looked really solid, so much so that a fake will let him slide it in the bottom right. I have a feeling Evoh's going to be thanking himself for giving this nice shot. Threatening that backflip flick to place it top left means Evoh has to respect that. Instead, Chronic just 360s and lets it fall in. A lot of air dribble reset. Evoh early challenge. Chronic has the read. The double is a layup for a guy like Chronic. And he ties up this game. Evoh wanted the challenge early, but it's so hard not to telegraph that, especially off kickoff. We probably need to focus a little bit more on this kickoff game, which is so crucial because of how lethal both these guys are on wall-to-air dribbles. We see Evoh intentionally trying to push that left, and what a save from Chronic, just barely able to get a little touch on it. Enough to keep it from going in, and now he's got a high bounce dribble, and he just has the read on Evoh, who's trying to challenge as early as possible. And it's 5-4 for Chronic. You think he said it's the Evoh special? The Evoh special. Why would we? That would make no sense to call it the Feer flick at all. I have to be able to do my own flick. And I'm sure I couldn't, not without a bunch of practice. We can try and call it the Evoh flick. We'll call it the Evoh flick here. We called the dribble from the back corner, the full field air dribble in ones, the Daniel dribble for the longest time. So we can give Evoh the nod on his flick. Chronic, a little bit less heat on this flick. Interesting pre-jump. Pre-jump and then backflipped out of it as Evoh didn't play into the pre-jump, and then he was still able to recover and get the save. Now tons of space, though. Evoh just going to boom a power shot. I don't think Chronic's going to swing that wide. Chronic is able to take over. Now another flick, another fake. Nice goal line save. Chronic has decided that the fakes are easier. That does mean that Evoh is going to be able to start to get a read on where he needs to position to stop those 50s. And he's done so this time. He's got a minute to make up one. Chronic almost sandwiching this ball with the ceiling. The wave dash catch. Evoh is able to save. Long clear. Evoh wants to keep pressure on, so he's going to try and path over some pads here on Chronic's half so that he doesn't have to leave. He's got 38. Nice 50 there and a good bump. Might put Chronic awkward. It's still so hard to create offense out of this corner, so what's Evoh going to do? He's just going to take the ball away. He didn't want Chronic to take control. He'd rather hold on to his own possession, but Chronic is being super aggressive considering he has a 1-goal lead. Now, Evoh with space. Chronic, a shadow. Really late challenge. Evoh let the ball roll all the way on the back of his car. I wasn't sure if he was going to go air dribble bump or what. It feels like Evoh didn't know what he was going to do either. And he just lost the ball and made it very, very easy for Chronic to challenge. I mean, can't do anything with it that far back. And Evoh just had to make a decision faster. 6-4, 14 seconds. Likely that Chronic will be tying up this series. Evoh, will he put one for the road? Probably not. That'll hit the ground. Chronic is going to tie it up. Evoh maybe switching into a different octane. He doesn't often switch from the octane. We'll see in game number 3. Game number 3. Chronic versus Evoh. What did Chronic switch into? Wait, he switched into the Yanks octane. At least I think this is the octane. I just recorded a video of Yanks from Sam playing in the 2 best of 7s in the grand finals for the last regional. Pretty sure this is like the exact car Yanks was playing with. Now, maybe Yanks didn't make it. I don't know. Maybe it's a popular car in other aspects. Chronic. Wow. Look at the power on that flick. He's faked a few. Evoh started to get the read. So now he's going to remind him that he can still go over the top. 114 kilometer per hour flick. There's no reacting to that. Drally also used that preset. Yeah, the bubbles. And these wheels, I don't know what wheels these are. It's a titanium white something. Chronic has really tried to pressure Evoh all the way to his back wall. This time he has tons of boost to do so, but even when he doesn't have a ton of boost, he doesn't want Evoh to get an open field setup. It makes a lot of sense considering the way both these guys have been playing with those chances. This is a really dangerous challenge for Chronic, though. I guess Evoh is low on boost as well. They end up just about perfectly tying on it. Now Chronic, a long clear, trying to chase Evoh down, and he can't. Evoh just trying to boom it directly on the net, and he succeeds. This is the danger of trying to get a demo. You put yourself so far out of position, make it easy on Evoh to hit the open net. Sunburst. Is that right? 2-1. Evoh, he's had these direct kickoffs. Let's see from Chronic again. Moving slide to the right of the ball, flipping left. I think that's what we saw both times. It just seems like Chronic's trying to get dead center and push through the ball. Maybe Evoh picking a side. We'll have to check Evoh next time. Certainly one more direct kickoffs, but Chronic in game 1 was winning a ton of them to the side wall, and those might as well be direct kickoffs the way Chronic performs off the side wall. Another nice flick. The ground game has favored Chronic for sure. Evoh trying to find a way to hold on to this possession. He has all the boost, but retreating with the ball headed back into your corner can be tough to pick a time to turn around and take the ball, try and gain possession from it when your momentum is headed the wrong way. And sometimes it's so awkward. Chronic can just chase you down and flick over the top of you despite not having the boost control. Evoh really wants to create these scenarios where he's got the whole field ahead of him, and it goes to show why Chronic is so adamant in trying to stop them. It's obvious where Evoh feels most comfortable is a possession play back towards his net, and then the whole field to attack from. Chronic, another nice flick. Evoh waiting too long to challenge. He tried to challenge early, and he had a tough time. We were talking about how Chronic was getting the reads on all of his early challenges. Now he's looking to shadow for an extended period of time, but he probably shadowed a little bit too close to Chronic. Once you're that close, you have to find a way to make a play, otherwise popping it over you is a little bit too easy. Now you really don't want to see Chronic here. Wall to air dribble, resets. He is just going to get a perfectly placed touch. Evoh refused to challenge, so Chronic lets it fall to the ground and flies back up with it, using the flip at its absolute peak to go crossbar down. Nothing Evoh can do if he's going to elect to wait that long to make his move. And now Chronic up 4-2. Chronic, another wall to air dribble. Another goal, most likely it seems. The way he's playing this, he almost tried to pogo it. Evoh is able to get the save. In fact, he's going to get the counter. Maybe jinxing Chronic a bit. He's going to throw him a nice one. Oh, Chronic wanted that read. Just got not a great bounce for him and a perfect bounce for Evoh. Another direct kickoff. This time not with enough power to score, but enough power to steal Chronic's back corner. He's just trying to put some distance between the ball and his net. But he is going to stay aggressive on it, like he has been all series. Being patient. Timing his challenge after Evoh's flick. If he had tried to turn and immediately get on top of the ball, Evoh would have put it over the top of him. Evoh trying to show that he's got the flick game as well. Doesn't nearly have the strength it would need. Chronic has looked so good on 18 to 20 boosts. He is just finding a way to score no matter what boost he's at. Evoh's done a good job of stealing and making Chronic play on the ground with very little. He's just played so well with it, and he doesn't back down. He's unafraid to make a move with, you know, only a couple pads. And it has rewarded him greatly. Now, almost a direct kickoff. But Evoh able to get back. Evoh playing on 0 and Chronic's half. He is going to completely leave. And that's the difference between them two right now. Chronic has really never given this kind of space. He wants to constantly challenge time and time again. Look at these goal line 50s. Chronic has mixed up the ground game so well. You know, Evoh, when he tried to react early to these flicks, he got flicked over the top, and now he's looking to wait and make a better challenge at a better time. And Chronic's just low 50ing after low 50 after low 50 until he eventually forces it in. Chronic in the back corner, Evoh. Nice challenge, and we'll get the ground pinch. Within 2 still with a minute left to go. Trying to take down one of his demons. Evoh, been around the ones game for such a long time. Could never get a win over Daniel. Could never get a win over Chronic. These guys who have been in the elite of North American 1v1 for a long time. Was able to get a win over Lion Blaze. Certainly the best win under Evoh's belt, especially considering the way Lion Blaze has played recently. He's looked really good. Coming off a nice CRL win. Chronic, full field dribble off the bounce in the corner. He's just going to let it bounce into the post. Great recovery from Evoh. That was a really impressive save. After he missed the first touch, the fact that he was able to get back to that ball and not make it a goal for Chronic is truly very, very special. The problem is it's just getting a save. He needs more than just saves. It's actually a really good midfield challenge. He's got himself within 20 seconds. What kind of kickoff will Evoh go for? We'll make sure to watch it from Evoh's perspective here. Slight offset, straight kickoff. Evoh getting it pushed over the top of him. Chronic will take this back into the corner. Evoh has no choice but to be aggressive. But it's not necessarily a place where he's looked poor. He's looked solid. Trying to steal away possession. Now, this is not a great start. Chronic is going to let him catch it. And there's almost no way Evo's able to get under this and keep it up, but he does. Chronic will fake it now. Hits the ground. 2-1 for Chronic on match point as he tries to take the $100 down and keep Evoh from ever able to get a win against himself. Game number 4. Chronic and Evoh. Evoh able to win game 1, but just barely. Actually had to steal game 1. Chronic looked really, really amazing at the start of it. And now he's had a tough time in the next 2. Chronic is going to take them both. So Evoh back against the wall. Can he take down Chronic? He's got a full field dribble, the reset, and he had such a small section of the net available. Chronic actually might have missed that power shot. I think there's a chance that was open. But you need to be able to move the ball in either direction to potentially get a goal. When you're angling in high on the top corner, in fact, almost to the point where it's almost not in, then your only choice is to push it in the direction towards the net, which actually makes the defender have an easier time reading. They know you have to go to that top post if you're going to get it to score. Which means Chronic is able to save it away. Evoh trying to get a low 50 against Chronic. Can't do so. Still has possession, though. And that might end just now. Chronic killing the 50, looking for a musty to get some clearance on the ball. Doesn't really get anything at all. His weakest flick of today for sure. Evoh popping this high. Chronic doesn't have the boost to come up and meet it. Evoh knows, so he just backs off in order to not get demoed and then reapproaches the ball. Evoh unable to get the bump, but actually a great wave dash. He single jumps to get the bump, and then he just turns around and instantly wave dashes to kill all his momentum towards the orange half of the field and immediately put himself back on offense. Oh my goodness, Chronic. He has stayed fresh on the flick game. 141 kilometer per hour this time. Evoh may have given it a little bit of acceleration, so that number might be slightly fraudulent, but my goodness. I didn't realize Chronic was still top notch. I mean, he's been doing tons of threes recently, and it's not often you get the chance to set up flicks like that in threes, but apparently he still has them as he is just booming them in the net. Chronic backing off this one for the first time in a while. Evoh getting this ball moving so fast. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Once that ball is moving about supersonic speed, it becomes really hard to adjust the play. You can't really catch up to the ball to get a stronger shot or slow it down, and the defender can time their challenge much easier. That being said, Chronic unable to hold on to possession here. A chip from the corner means Evoh ties it up. A little bit of a low-scoring game. We talked about this. I think low-scoring games have favored Evoh recently. Evoh looking for the bottom left corner. Can't find it. Chronic taps it away. He's not going to be registered with the save, and I think that's correct, even though they did give Evoh a shot. I think that was headed in. Evoh wall to air dribble. Doesn't want it. They play it on the ground instead. Chronic late recovery. Evoh able to 50. Interesting camera work from Evoh as he checked to see how Chronic was going to be recovering. It didn't help. Chronic still able to take control. Evoh getting dangerous on his saves, but for good reason. He wants to end Chronic's possession immediately. If he taps it to the corner and just takes the easiest possible save, Chronic will likely still be on offense. So a slight risk, stop it immediately on the goal line in order to make sure the possession ends and you could take it to the other side of the field. Chronic, though, he is going to get an ice counter. Evoh has been doing his best to force these 50s in. He has adapted Chronic's style near the goal line of just trying to win every single challenge, this time in the air, where it's much harder to do. Nice demo. Should be an easy second goal, I would think. He is a little bit late to it, but nice redirection. Chips it up near the net, and then taps it after Chronic has already forced to come up and make a save attempt into the top left. These two might 50 again here. Chronic wants to hold on to possession. But instead, he just teed it up for an easy shot to Evoh. Chronic didn't like that first touch. He just couldn't decide what he wanted to do. He couldn't just slam it back in his own net, which was basically the angle that he had. So he tried to get around it and push it to the right side of the field from his perspective, but Evoh just took it away. 3-2 for Evoh. Hook shot. I think Evoh will take this into his back corner. His history says he loves leaving the blue half and just trying to hold on to possession in his own corners. But he's not able to this time. Chronic good close shadow. Should be able to take control. Bit of it too strong of a touch. Nice fake by Evoh. Fake challenge. Got Chronic moving. And that was a really good bump. I think Chronic thought he had broken away for a goal. But got a slight bump that pushed him out of position. And then Evoh the catch and the shot. 4-2. Chronic losing this slightly backwards, which is good for Evoh. Means he's not going to be able to take an easy air dribble. Chronic has looked lethal in those. Evo's really slowed down the offense around Chronic net. Ever since Chronic was showing he could force in 50 after 50. Oh, air dribble bump! Puts him within one. Evoh has completely matched it and decided to just stay grounded around Chronic's net and try and muscle it through. Nice demo. 30 seconds. And Chronic clutch out this kickoff. Evoh going to push slightly right. Chronic is able to get the save to prevent the immediate goal and actually might have a bit of open space right now if he had any more boost. Evoh has really controlled boost, honestly, all series long. The difference between this game and previous ones is that Chronic is just not needed anymore, and Evoh caught him off guard. Evoh loves doing this. Now, Chronic, late in the game, needs some kind of goal, has really no choice but to try and pressure. But he did have 90 boost, so he probably didn't need to swing towards the midfield 100. He probably could have pressured while covering the net a little bit better. But Evoh baits him in, booms it over the top, and we are going to see Game 5. Game 5, Chronic versus Evoh. Ooh, Chronic potentially going to switch as well. Did Evoh get picked up by Exet, or is he trolling? No, he actually got picked up. Exet did pick up Evoh. Game number 5, Chronic and Evoh. The storyline continues of Evoh controlling the boost as he takes a slight detour to steal the midfield. And Chronic, unfazed by it, does not leave the offensive half. Now he's back in his corner, though. These two dancing with each other. Evoh is eventually going to leave. Will Chronic throw another one of his deadly flicks, or will it be a fake? It's going to be neither. He's looked so solid on the ground. He's not even, yeah, he knows. He knows he made a mistake. He's been dominating on that all day long. I can't imagine that's going to throw him off too much with how solid his ground game has been, but it will be an early lead for Evoh. Chronic, the wave dash kickoff, single jump wave dash. I'm not sure we've seen either one of them mixing it up to that yet. So Chronic will be the first. Trying to get another low 50. Evoh just challenges it. Chronic looked like a brick wall in all the previous games. This time, not able to do it. Actually seemed like Evoh might have popped it into the ground and up over Chronic. As Chronic did not expect him just going to need the single jump. Try and stop it. Chronic handing over another free goal to Evoh. Chronic needs to clean it up. He has just spotted Evoh 3 goals at the start of this game. Chronic, this is where he wants to be, though. He feels so comfortable in the wall to air dribble. This will likely define this Game 5. If he is able to score off these possessions, he can't be beat, but Evoh has at least stopped this one for now. Nice interception at the midfield. So Evoh's going to be recovering late. Chronic just tries to boom it past him too high off the bounce. He wanted the bounce to help him with the power. The downside is that it helped to launch it over the top of the crossbar. Chronic should be able to stay with this. Evoh did try and fake a challenge, though. Now Chronic on the bounce. Neither one of them wanted to be the first to attack. Chronic will go first. Evoh gets the save. Extended possession here for Chronic. This 50 is unable to win the midfield. I think that would have actually been huge for this possession, but Evoh ended up diving for the demo. So now Chronic's going to get what he wants anyways. His flick, this time saved. Evoh having to come in and out of his net. He rushes quick to the ball. Chronic is going to be able to get an easy read on his approach if he's just going to go gung-ho straight at it. And now Chronic, look at this brick wall play, man. If he gets around the net, he has got so much faith in himself to just eventually force it in. Evoh getting a little bit faked. You see him jumping high to try and stop the high shot and then can't get back down for the 50 that Chronic has masterfully set up. Now wall to air dribble again. Like I said before, I think we're going to need to see Chronic slot at least a couple of these. It has been a huge part of his game so far in this series. And he's not scoring this one here in Game 5. Ooh, Evoh. Nice change up on the shot to get Chronic baited in, but he just missed off the post. Now both of them low on boost. And that challenge was good enough to maybe earn him a demo. No, Chronic does good to escape. And he can't quite get it back to Evoh's net, though. A little bit over halfway. Evoh spotted 3 goals. You know, Chronic has done well defensively whenever Evoh has had possessions. Problem is that Chronic has just handed over a few on offense, thanks to Evoh's, you know, not even necessarily a solid defense. He had a few kind of boneheaded ones I'm sure he wishes he could have back. And if Evoh can continue to hold him off, then he just might be able to take this game. Evoh breaking out of his half. This is a hard one by Evoh. We talked about the last few being maybe just Chronic mistakes. Not this one. We've shown that Chronic is extremely talented at scoring in that final 10th of the field. But Evoh finds his way out. He's able to slam in the long shot. Look at this shot. What a save by Chronic to keep Evoh from finding his way in. A nice bump to get Evoh on the wrong side of the ball. In a minute 30, this is a crucial possession I think Chronic needs to score on, and Evoh maybe knows it. The immediate challenge. Surprised Evoh didn't look for that tight angle. I thought it was there. Oh no, Chronic! He clipped himself off the post! He definitely had this save. Swings around the 100. He's there for the shot. It's not that strong. Oh, but he just gets one wheel off the ground. So his first jump is just eaten alive by the post. And now he's got 4 goals to make up. Interesting change up on the kickoff. Looking for anything. Evoh maybe feeling confident. Doesn't even want to go to the corner. He says, I'll keep playing defense. I think I can hold you off. 4 goals in 1 minute. And, I mean, Evoh just handed that one for free. I mean, come on. Chronic is lethal, especially off the kickoff wall to air dribbles. You let him get a free one and get into a kickoff sequence. You could be in trouble, but Evoh feeling confident. A minute 4, Chronic able to get a possession. Evoh's going to cut it off early. And now Chronic's going to be playing against the late recovering Evoh. Evoh challenging as quickly as possible at the midfield. Chronic looking for a double off the back wall. Evoh not there to stop the first. And the 50 again, the backflip. Can he finish it off? He can! Chronic! How is he able to keep this inside the 18-yard box no matter what? Even when he comes from the skies, he's able to win a 50. And then he half flips it in. Evoh can't recover to push it away. 44 seconds. Chronic just needs 2. Pushing this ball left. He's not going to be able to get the immediate shot. But this has been the dream zone for Chronic, which is the goal line. Both of them low on boost. Actually a decent fake by Evoh, whether he meant to or not. Forcing Chronic all the way back into his corner. 30 seconds. Needs to have the ice in the final moments, and we saw him do this earlier in Game 5. He just hands over the ball. Evoh is playing really, really defensive, though. He doesn't even want to dream about taking any sort of risk on offense. I think he could have gotten a goal there. But instead, he turns around, back on defense. Chronic, a nice 50. He is going to turtle. He knows he doesn't have the boost to get this and another one within 10 seconds. He's going to throw the GGs. Evoh will take the win. Chronic went up 2-1, but Evoh ices it out with 2 straight. 3-2 for Evoh and Chronic, as I think we just watched a couple of the best North American 1v1ers battle.